Hello, I'm Rick Steiner, and welcome to Lux Life Discovered. My co-host is Shannon Richmond. Shannon, glad to have you today.
Thank you. Always glad to be here.
Well, good, good. We have two sharp guests today that I couldn't wait to share with you. But it's Ava Pinkerton with Baron Fort Clothing Company and Carter Collins with Carter Collins and More Floral Designs. So, welcome, guys.
Thank you. We're
Thank
so
you.
excited to be here.
Well, good. Shannon, I met both of them last weekend. Carter was one of the florists at my bridal show in Northwest Arkansas.
That's one that you were bragging on?
Yes, yes. He did the staircase, and honestly, his work is exceptional and rivals any larger floral
Wow.
florist that I've worked with nationwide. So, what his future holds is unlimited.
That's awesome.
And then Ava Claire was at his booth with him, and sharp young lady who we're going to use for a model in a shoot soon. And so, but the nice thing about both of them is that Ava is 17 years old, a senior in high school, and has her own clothing boutique.
Wow.
And then Carter is 19 and has his own floral studio, and they're in side by side each other, and that's how they got to know each other.
That. Oh, big thanks for you two.
Oh, yeah. So, Ava, let's start with you. So, at 17, I mean, how in the world, and being in high school, kind of give us a little background of how this journey began.
Well, actually, so I've always loved clothes. It's an addiction, kind of, but it's an okay addiction. When I was really young, I would always go over to my grandma's house, and every time I was over there, we would sew something or fix whatever needed patched. And after that, it kind of just sparked like a love in my heart and made me hold that fond memory of her and just being able to do that. And so after going over there for countless days, I would sew with her. And then for my 8th birthday, I asked for a sewing machine while other kids were asking for Nerf guns and easy bake ovens. And so I asked for a sewing machine, and I just sewed all the time, and I loved it. No one in my family got it. Like, I come from a rodeo family, and so they were always kind of like, yeah, you're a little different, but it's okay. And so I would sew all the time. I would make pillows, blankets, aprons, whatever you could think of, I would try and make it. And I loved it. And textiles have always been a huge interest in me. I love knowing how everything works with them and what fabrics go with what and how they're made and where they're sourced from. And so what really started my store was my mom and I were shopping one day, and next to us, there was a space for rent. And she was like, Ava, you love clothes. You should open a store. And this was going into my senior year. So it was that summer before. So I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like, I just like to shop. And she's like, no, you really should. And then I was kind of like, oh, okay. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to run a business, but I've been around both of my parents who are entrepreneurs themselves and have always ran a business. So I kind of had a little clue, but still being 17, like, there was a lot to figure out and a lot of guess and check, but I had a lot of people supporting me. My parents were a huge support system, and I'm so grateful for them. And from August was my first time going to market. So it was huge. It's 5 million square feet, and going in as a 17-year-old, it's a little intimidating. Whenever you look up and there's 15 stories above you and people from everywhere knowing exactly what they're doing. And I'm just guessing. I'm just picking out the clothes I liked. And so from there, I started like collecting all the information I needed, figuring out what I wanted the style and vibe to kind of be. And I really wanted it to be something that fits our small town, but also something where we're next to Fayetteville, which is a huge college town. And so I kind of want to bring a little bit of that Fayetteville here and be that small town standard a little bit. I mean that in the best way, but like I love how funky Fayetteville is, and like all of their style and all of the kind of out there clothing. I just think it's really interesting and really fun. And I think clothing is a good way to express yourself and express like your personal style, because mine changes every day. And I just love everything about it. And so as I was starting the store, I was still in high school, so I'm playing tennis. I am NHS vice president. I'm in student council. I'm vice president there. I'm really involved with school. And so trying to balance school and work and figuring out how to run a business, it was a lot, but it was really fun. And I had a great support system. and I've loved every second of it. The town has been amazing. And like Kendra, our landlord, she is so sweet. Anything we need, she's right there doing it. I wanted my floors repainted and they were repainted the next day. Like, she is amazing. And so I've had an entire village of people helping me this entire way, and I'm so grateful for them.
Well, that's great. So is your boutique then just like an extension of your closet? Is that the way
Pretty
you look at
much.
it? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Well,
my
Carter,
closet, it's huge. I converted a spare bedroom into my closet. And
wow,
so, yeah, it is kind of an extension.
that's great. All right, and then by having your store where it's located, and then Carter comes along and opens his studio there, a floral studio next to you. So Carter, give us your background too, because at 19, I mean, it's very impressive.
Well, I appreciate that. I from a really young age, again, a lot of our story is really similar. I really enjoyed flowers. I really enjoyed the process of growing flowers. So I started in the greenhouse growing realm. It didn't take very long for me to realize that through some health struggles and things that wasn't going to work for me, and especially during school. I mean, I was trying to do that like Ava is her boutique. I was trying to do that during my school time, and that it just wasn't working. I wasn't able to accept shipments and things on time, and it was just a nightmare. So I decided to move on and go to a technical institute here in Northwest Arkansas and finish my high school career earlier than what should have been. So that way I could move on to a job learning the floral industry so I could get my education, which I moved on to get my Arkansas Master Florist license. So I'm now a certified master florist in Arkansas.
At 19. At 19.
At
That
19.
just blows my mind. Yeah. So,
I have worked with them, and they have recommended me for certified floral designer, which is a national level of certification.
right.
So I will be taking that as soon as I get everything rounded up. But in the midst of all of that, I decided to get a job at a local flower shop at the next town over in Prairie Grove, which is just a smaller town. But my dream was really to own my own shop. So after a few years getting my feet put on the ground, kind of learning how I wanted to do, my ways and how I kind of be able to express myself and learn my ways, I kind of decided it was time to branch off and move to my own building, and it has absolutely blossomed since then.
Aw.
Yeah. And that arrangement behind, that's one that he did that's huge and massive and gorgeous.
Wow.
Well, so now both of you, so Carter, I know you work locally, but you'll also work wherever the job will take you, right?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I say. Anywhere the job will take me, I am amped to go.
Right, right. And then, Claire, your boutique, you sell online as well too, right?
So that's currently a process. I have had a bunch of struggles with it, but we will have a website up soon, but we do have an Instagram and Facebook and any social media you can think of. We post every day. And so
Okay.
hopefully soon, it's a balance between school and work.
Right.
But I will have a website very quickly.
All right, good
And it will
deal.
be linked.
All that extra time that you have, yeah.
Yeah, all the extra time.
So where's a boyfriend in this mix? Is there one?
No.
No. I know. It's well, it's going to say, when would you have time? Yeah. He'd have to be really an understanding guy. Yeah. Like, yeah, we don't have time for that. But anyway, it's all good. No. So, okay, what has been the biggest challenge for each of you starting your own business at your age? What do you think the biggest challenge has been?
I personally, like, my store is completely different from Carter's, and we have two different professions, but still have to deal with some of the same struggles, I would say. Mine would definitely be the demographic and trying to figure out who is going to match the style that I pick out and how to pick out clothes for everybody. That's definitely a big challenge, but also a lot of people underestimate us for our age. And so that's kind of a struggle, because they're like, I've had a million people ask me, well, is it really your mom's store and you just run it? Is it
Yeah.
like, do you just work there? What is it? No, I own it. I operate it. I do everything that is involved with it. And so that's been a big thing where people are like, is it really you? I'm like, yeah, it is.
So, all right, going back to that, something you just brought up then, what age are you targeting? What's your target market with your?
I have something for just about everybody. The seasons really change what we pick, and so I try to have a range of 14 to 85. Like I have that customer clientele come in every day, and so I have to
Wow,
have
That's
a big range, and it's hard for me to choose things that I wouldn't personally wear every day because it's just out of my comfort zone and what I'm usually wearing. But it has taught me a lot of what people want to wear and what they expect whenever you walk in. And it's hard to make everybody happy, but I do my
for
best.
sure. Yeah.
Aw.
Well, good. So, how far are you guys from Fayetteville?
40 minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
40,
Right
45
above it.
minutes.
So, do you have a lot of people coming from the surrounding area that are coming to Lincoln for the first time to shop with you guys?
Yes,
Yes.
actually. We do. I'll have a lot of people be like, I didn't even know this was a thing. Or just all those types of questions like, oh, I didn't know Lincoln had that. Well, yeah. Like we're trying to make it cool and revitalized again.
Yeah.
Yes,
Nice.
we get lots of people from Bentonville, Fort Smith, that kind of thing, that come just to support local and new young businesses.
That is good. Yeah. So, Carter, what's been your biggest obstacle? Do you think
My
for
biggest
for
obstacle is, like Ava said, when it comes to getting large events, usually the people that are putting them on are prominent, important people, and
Right.
they expect things to be perfect, and they don't expect an 18, 19-year-old to make that happen
Right.
or have the means to make that happen.
True. Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those things you'll find out as you get older. You'll go from a period where you're too young to be old to like
Mhm.
middle age, and all of a sudden you realize, well, I'm too old to be young. That type thing. So it's kind of a gradual process. Don't you feel like that's true
Oh,
too?
look at me about
I didn't say about the old. See, that's how we get along. Yeah. But now I just thought it was amazing. I was telling Shannon too that you're 17, 19, and then the cellist that played was 18, a senior in high school. So it was just motivating to me to see three young people who were so just dynamic in what they're doing, the passion that you guys have, and so it was really impressive.
So Carter,
Well, thank
We
you.
greatly appreciate that.
what's been your biggest job that you've done so far, Carter?
My biggest job would probably be, that's a tough one. We've done a few weddings that were quite large, beautiful weddings. I've helped at a few places out of state, with other florists, which were massive.
And
Um,
one was where?
One was with the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, thought we just throw that out there.
That's
Yeah.
so
It was
cool.
very fun.
Okay.
That was a different florist that is no longer in business, that I helped. He just imports goods. So he brings the designers in, but he imports goods.
Okay.
It was
Wow.
awesome.
That was awesome. I bet it was.
Oh yeah,
I bet
yeah.
it was.
Well, and I know we've done large events that you have access to areas that normally you wouldn't have access to, and to be able to kind of like that's your creative space. That's pretty huge. Yeah.
Yes.
So what would you like to do that in the floral design business? What would be like your dream? Is there like a dream design that you would like to do for someone, or have you thought about that?
And my heart is in an event. The bigger the event is, the more I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
Just because you get to really express talent and your appreciation for people and things by making it bigger. You get to order bigger things you don't usually order, like orchids per se. You don't order a Phalaenopsis orchid for an everyday arrangement,
Right.
but you do order a Phalaenopsis arrangement for an arrangement that's 10 feet in the air.
True. Yeah. He when I met Carter at the Grand at Willow Springs, their grand opening, and then Carter did the flowers for Whitney, one of the owners, when she got married last December there. So met him that day, and so then I called about my bridal show, and I told him, I said, I've got a floral chandelier that I need a florist to do, or the staircase. And Carter was immediately like, staircase is mine. And so he was ready, and his creativity on that staircase, because he did like how would you describe it? I don't want to like my
I
description.
would call that
Yeah.
more of an orbal design. I didn't want to go super like extensively large. Like I had seen some pictures where they had done entire encasements of the bottoms of the staircases, around the railings, covered at rails completely. And in my opinion, the beauty of the building is as much important as the flowers. The flowers need to complement the grand of the building. I mean,
Right.
it is called the grand because it is truly a grand
It
building.
is, yes. So he did kind of describe how you did the staircases. He didn't wrap the railings there. You know, he did. I don't want to say it where it's going to make it like, but he did like groupings of flowers along the stairs and across the top railing that were huge, and I mean they were impressive.
I did what is called saddle arrangements. I took the saddle and hung them off both sides of the staircase to where on this side there would be one and on this side there would be one. And then on the more narrow parts, I just did one side and hung moss and more natural materials off the back of it to where it looked finished and like it could be seen in nature. But I didn't want to put like solid florals because that is something that is seen every day in the wedding world. I wanted something more or like organic. There was some bark pieces in there and wood and willow. It was beautiful.
It was, and then he also had some potted plants of like tulips and hyacinths.
We had
and
tulips,
different things.
daffodils, hyacinths, all the spring
hydrangeas.
things.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I love that he has a vision for something rather than just there it is, like everybody else.
I could only see you two.
Well, when he drove up with the van full of fresh flowers and all the buckets, and then they came back with the second van load, and then the third, and still have one more coming. I knew it was going to be impressive because it's like the flowers kept coming. I'm like, how are you going to have time to do all this?
Oh, I bet it smelled so
Oh, it
beautiful.
did. Yes. And so, Ava, next year we're going to have you. You'll have to have a booth and showcase your clothing there as well, because be the perfect opportunity to showcase brides for their honeymoon wear and that type thing. So
I would absolutely love to be able to do those kinds of things. I love like beach wear and honeymoon destination vacations. I think all of that attire is beautiful, and I would love to get into that.
So have you guys? Is your landlord? She's not listening right now, is she?
No, she's not.
They're going to take a wall in the back part of the building and chisel it
This
out.
is all joking,
and-
but not really.
Right, and do a revolving door so they don't have to walk outside to go to each other's building. So
Aw.
we were joking about that. That's what they need to do, where it flips, and
Yeah,
that way nobody knows. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
We've got, so Carter and I share a wall, and so we share like a wall on this side, and then on this side is a Mexican restaurant. And so
Well, that's even
I run
better.
myself over to Carter's, and then I'm like, "Are you hungry?" And he says, "Yeah." And so then we run ourselves to the Mexican restaurant, then we come back, and it's great. I love it.
Right. Well, if you just had a wall in between all three, it'd just be even easier.
No, I just need a
Yes.
couple doors.
Right.
Some
There you
revolving
go.
doors.
Yes, I would like a hiding, like a showcase door where you can just flip it.
That's true. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So what do you see going forward? I mean, you've already accomplished so much at your ages, but what do you see for the boutique going forward? What would you like to?
I think my main mission would just to be to grow Lincoln. I love this town. I've grown up here my whole life, and a lot of people have their doubts, and that's understandable, but it is really being revitalized right now. Like, I kind of took a risk on my location. The newest thing we had was the Mexican restaurant, and so I took my chance whenever I saw that the store that was in here was closing. And I said, I want to bring some Fayetteville to Lincoln. I want it to be revitalized and to grow. I would love to grow our town. And then Carter moved in, and I was so happy to have a neighbor and a neighbor that has the same ideas as me, and to where we're able to collaborate and create really great things. Like last night, we went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and I joined the chamber a couple months ago. And so then I told Carter that he had to come with me. And so I made him go to the meeting with me. And last night after the meeting, we got a text of, hey, because we pitched a couple ideas, and we got a text of, hey, would you guys want to be in charge of the ideas that you pitched? And so now we've got to come up with a town scavenger hunt and a pie auction and a couple other things. And so I would really
Always
just
be
love to
careful
grow.
of ideas, because then they come back to haunt you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what I got myself into, but that's okay. And I would just love to grow the town.
Right. Well, Shannon is the vice president of the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce and the membership director. So
That is
I
so
wish you were
awesome.
here. I
yeah.
wish you were here.
So when I met Shannon. We were here on vacation. And so I went to meet with Shannon, went back to the condo, and my wife asked me, she said, how did your meeting go with the chamber? I said, great. And I said, I joined the chamber today. And she goes, you joined the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce? I'm like, yeah. She goes, why? I said, have you ever met Shannon? And so Shannon's opened up a lot of doors here. But after meeting so many talented people here along the Gulf Coast, I told Shannon, I said, there needs to be a podcast or some kind of local media where they, all the talent showcased. 2 days later, a guy called me. He's like, hey, Shannon Richmond at the chamber said you were interested in starting a podcast. I'm like, well, my exact words were, and I told him, and by the time we got off the phone, Lux Life Discover was born, and I called Shannon and told her, and I said, and I have my co-host, and she said, who? And I said, you. And she goes, I don't have time. I said, it doesn't make any difference. We're doing this.
That's how we feel sometimes.
Yeah, that's how we feel sometimes.
Well, and you need that person to push you. And that's one thing I like about you guys being next door to each other and having that same vision and the drive to make things happen. So
I love it. I love whenever we collaborate and can sit down and create a new idea.
Yes, it's awesome to be able to have somebody that we can just, when we close the doors at night, we can sit down and just hash out a new idea, and the next day we've done something great.
Yes. Like Carter, his industry, I know nothing about, but I'm so willing to learn and to help him. I would love it. And like just that event that you threw last weekend, it was amazing. It was so beautiful. And I've never been to anything like that before. And so whenever we went, I was like, I love this. This is so fun. I loved all of the outfits. I love just experiencing it all. And I'm so excited to have somebody next door to where I can go to those things and help out and just learn new things. I love it.
Well, you're going to have a big part in it next year too, so we're going to make sure of that. But something else
I'm excited.
Have you guys hosted an open house yet at your business? A grand opening or?
Grand opening with the chamber.
Yes. And so my grand opening was actually Lincoln's homecoming. And so it was huge. But it was a great time. And we have events I try to do it about every month and a half where we have a sip and shop, and I have Carter come over and we just do a lot of fun things with the town.
Okay, and this is something that I'll just throw out there too. Have you thought about approaching any of the sororities on campus at University of Arkansas?
Yes, I just need more time. That's
right, yeah. Because that would be good.
That was my meaning for moving forward with school, because I still had 2 years left when I decided I'm going to do this and I'm going to go big at it. It was kind of I had my credits, I had everything in line, but I had to have a certain amount of attendance, and I couldn't attend and do my job.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, because what you're doing is what some people build a whole business for a lifetime, and you're doing that already. I mean, you kind of jumped off in the deep end. You didn't mess around with the wading pool or the knee-deep pool. You just went head first in the deep end.
And back to what you were saying with the grand opening, December 4th, I left my job. I went and opened up a bank account December 6th, and I had a functioning, running business by February 7th.
Yeah. And Valentine's Day just right in time for that and knocked it out of the park.
I sure wish you guys were here.
So
we would love to be there.
Yeah.
Well,
we got to figure out something.
That's true.
Yeah.
You'll have to have open branches down here. Yeah.
That would be so fun.
No. Well, I tell you what, we'll talk more later about some ideas I have that you guys we could all benefit from, or at least maybe more beneficial for you guys. But I think that so many opportunities are ahead for what you can do in your area. And I'm also tapping into the Greek system at University of Arkansas as well.
I would love that. I think that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, because I mean with the Greek system, I mean you're looking at all the different functions they do, because it's not just their formals. I mean it's every aspect of all the different luncheons for the throughout the year. Same way with the fraternities, but you tie that in together, tie in some clothing for the young ladies as well.
Absolutely.
Get the guys to buy the flowers. I mean it's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think about this, Shannon?
So I cannot wait to watch what you guys do. I'm sure it's some really big things.
So what's on the next big thing coming up? Is there anything in particular that you have coming up that you're excited about, or just
graduation?
Graduation.
She's gonna.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll make sure she has one heck of a graduation party.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. And some good flowers for graduation too to top it all
Yeah,
off. Yeah.
great flowers.
Yeah. That's, isn't
But
it
one
crazy
thing-
to, yeah.
Oh,
Go
I'm so
ahead.
sorry. I did not mean to interrupt you. One thing that like him and I are teaming up with doing, we're really excited about doing is we have the junk ranch that they travel and they have a huge, how would you even explain it?
It's kind of like an outdoor like flea market situation, but they carry everything you can think
Yes,
of.
it's kind of like a festival, it's
Oh,
a huge
wow.
shopping center.
There's music
Yes.
and there's food trucks
There's
and
everything.
you
Yes.
name it.
And people come from different states, like they come from all over. And Carter and I reached out to the woman who runs it, and we are going to do a conjoined booth where we'll have like a bouquet bar or arrangements, and I'll have clothing. And so we're really excited to team up and have that tent together, and we really want to name it
The Lincoln Square.
Yes, the Lincoln Square, or revitalizing Lincoln, or just something to draw attention to the town and to get that awareness out there that we're here and we want more people.
Sure. Okay. Well, good deal. Well, thank you guys for being on today. It's amazing how quickly this
I know.
went by.
I
But
could
so
look for a long
I
time.
know it. I know they're just motivating and exciting to hear their vision and to see what they're accomplished already. But Ava, begin first. We're going to put your information on the screen, kind of tell people how to contact you. And
Yes. So my name is Ava Pinkerton, and my number is 479-225-2428. My email is linked below, but we also have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, and our handle is Baron Fort Clothing Co. And we would love for you to follow us.
all right. And Carter, your turn.
My shop number is 479-824-8700. We are located at 117 West Bean Street, Lincoln, right next to Miss Ava. My website there is linked below, cartersflowers.com. And my Gmail is also, and anytime you want to inquire, that's the way to do it, is by email. So that way I can give you a call back.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been fun. I knew it was going to be fun to have you guys on. And after I met you, I thought, well, this is just a no-brainer. We have to do this. So,
Thank you
but yeah.
so much for the opportunity.
Yes.
Oh,
thank
you're
you.
welcome. And I'll be in touch with you guys soon, but thanks so much for being here today.
Sounds
Well,
great.
thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Lux Life Discovered.
Check out Lux Life Discovered on Facebook and Instagram and on 30a.tv. See you next time on Lux Life Discovered.